invite His Holiness to bestow the precious Dharma teachings. Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zengkong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Thubten Dorje. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa today. Namo Sakyamuni Buddha's emanation, Kalachakra Buddha, and the youthful goddess. Sumo, Danzen Katso, Tuten City, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, disciples present here and over the internet. How do you do? Good afternoon. Aisteru saranghe.
Hola amigo.
Hola amigo.
Te quiero mucho.
Te quiero mucho.
Sugoin.
Sugoin.
Ichiban.
Ichiban. Kimochi ii. Chumi.
Yapi.
Yapi.
Bling bling.
Bling bling.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. For next Sunday, November 29th, at 3 p.m. at the Rainbow Temple, there will be Manuhara Homa fire offering ceremony. Manuhara, the wealth attracting goddess. Harya. Manuharya Homa. And this deity has created lots of miracles and has hooked down lots of riches. If you don't want any of the riches, then you don't have to become primary supplicants. Today, we perform Kalachakra Homa. It's a very special occasion. As we all know, Kalachakra was an emanation of Sakyamuni Buddha. Sakyamuni Buddha at the Vulture's Peak giving Dharma teaching,
去了南印度，
he
祭塔，
split his body and went to India, to the auspicious Miji Pagoda in the South India, when in the Grahakuta. And there was the
香米祭塔，
Kalachakra king.
佛陀说法，释迦牟尼佛变化成为十人金刚，
So Sakyamuni Buddha transformed himself to become Kalachakra and the youthful goddess.
后对叶贤国王讲了十人金刚法。
And transmitted the Kalachakra Dharma to the king Dujaya of Shambhala. At that time,
将这个十人金刚法
the king Dujaya
传遍整个香巴拉，
spread the Kalachakra Dharma practice all over Shambhala,
十人金刚法
Buddha land.
缘起，
That's the origin of the Kalachakra practice.
就是释迦牟尼佛
So Sakyamuni Buddha transformed to become Kalachakra Buddha.
释迦牟尼佛传十人金刚法，
And
叶贤国王
Sakyamuni Buddha transmitted the Kalachakra practice to King Dujaya,
把这个
and the king
十人金刚法
spread the Kalachakra Tantra or Dharma practice all over Shambhala, Buddha land, Shambhala kingdom.
就在克什米尔
And then later on, at Kashmir,
十人金刚法，
the Kalachakra practice was widespread in Kashmir.
十人金刚法的根源。
That's the origin of the Kalachakra
十人金刚
Dharma
法
practice.
一共讲了3个轮，
And Kalachakra talked about 3 wheels. One is the inner wheel, next is the outer wheel,
还有另外一个
and
叫做别十轮。
the last one is the special wheel.
那我在2000年的时候，在
And in the year of 2000,
年的时候在香港，
in Hong Kong,
第一次传了
for the first time,
十人金刚法，
I transmitted the Kalachakra
传十人金刚法。
Tantric
那时
Dharma.
候没有一个
At that time,
华人，也就是华人
before that, there was
华
no
人传
one
十人金刚法的第一人。
Chinese speaking person who had ever transmitted Kalachakra before then, so I was the first one, the first Chinese speaker
这个
who transmitted Kalachakra
上师
Dharma.
就
And afterwards, Master Tupten
世界
instructed me
五大洲
to
去传
transmit the Kalachakra Dharma
那于我就
across the 5
办
continents.
十人金刚的法会，
So I conducted Kalachakra ceremonies in Asia,
欧洲，
Europe,
在东北亚，在东南亚，
Northeast Asia, Southeast Asia, Australia,
很多的国家都传了十
and many countries.
都传了十人金刚。
I transmitted the Kalachakra.
今天
And today, we perform Kalachakra Homa. So this is a very rare and remarkable occasion. It seems that the True Buddha Foundation has requested Master Lian He to write a report on Kalachakra. Have you all seen it? Master Lian He from Brazil that he has written a Kalachakra complete report. Have you seen that? During the Master's meeting, everyone has one. So then all the Masters should have read it. Anyone? 连印连写连印 Anybody that has seen the cover of the book, please raise your hand. So the content, of course, includes the origin of the Kalachakra and the source, and also all the Kalachakra Dharma that I have transmitted were included in the book. So if you have not read it, please do. You have to read it. That's very precious. A very precious Dharma book. That was Lian He. How could you not read it? The Dharma teachers don't have it. You should have printed as a book.
包括了师尊的法教，还有考古证明了师尊所讲的。
It includes grandmasters, Dharma teachings, and all the archaeological discoveries and findings. It all complies with the history and the records. The so-called Kalachakra, or the wheel of time. That time is a huge or great wheel. Think about it. A human being from birth to death that's the turn of the wheel of time. You live amidst time. You're not separate from time. Life and death are all under the control of time. It can be born or die. So the meaning of the wheel of time is that it includes both life and death. The meaning is very expansive. That amidst the wheel of time, everything can be born or everything can be destroyed. Once you learn the Kalachakra Dharma, then you would know how to use your own wheel of time together with the outer of wheel of time to transform into the special wheel of time. When you reach the special wheel of time, then you can be separate from time. You can abandon time. Then only then you would enter nirvana. Only then you would have attainment. Only then you would be a Buddha. That's extremely important. Kalachakra is extremely important. I hope that after your research on the Kalachakra Dharma, all of you would have attainments. Before the Dharma teaching, I would like to start with a joke. At the last bus, the last ride of the bus, it was being stopped by bandits and being driven into the mountain. And they showed their guns and said, this is a robbery and we want money and people. So show all your money and riches on your hands, and then we'll get them all. And then the bandits were toward the end, and there was a grandma that was taking off her clothes. And the bandit said, "What are you doing?" And the grandma was calm and replied, "I have no money to give you. But if you want sex, I'll give it to you." It should be like this. If you want money, I have none. If you want sex, I have none. No need to take off your clothes in panic. As a human being, we should know ourselves well. You have to understand yourself first. So, I want to ask everyone, how much Buddha Dharma have you understood? Many of us, after so many years, you have to understand yourself first and to know how much Buddha Dharma you have understood and give a score to yourself. You should know yourself. How much Buddha Dharma have you mastered?
资格当一个
Are you qualified
阿塞的，
to be an acharya?
自己称一称自己。
Weigh yourself.
你有没有资格当一个法师？
Are you qualified to be a Dharma teacher? Weigh
你有
yourself.
没有资格当一个优婆塞？
Are you qualified to be an upasaka,
你有
a
没有
male
资格当
lay
一个优婆
practitioner?
夷？
Are you qualified to be an upasaki, a female lay practitioner?
回去反省反省。
So reflect upon yourself.
现在
Now
进入你问
we will do the question and answer.
马来西亚莲
From Malaysia,
舞龙
Yanhua Huang Fulong.
顶礼师尊，请示师尊。
Homage to Grandmaster.
曾在1990年，
Once in
马来
1990,
西亚新山
Grandmaster went to Johor Bahru in Malaysia
传了对日智慧法
and transmitted
大
the
日
Dharma
智慧
practices of facing the sun wisdom and the great sun wisdom.
对日智慧法。
I would like to ask,
书上写修法时间
in facing the sun wisdom Dharma practice, in the book you wrote that the time to practice this is when the sun has
是
risen
否在
3
早
feet.
上9点到
Does it mean it is between 9 and 11 a.m.
还是在
or
8点到9点
between 8 to 9 a.m.?
修法一次要做多少个深呼吸呢？
How many
是应
deep
用
breaths is considered as one set of
修
practice?
完之后
Do we need the treasure-based energy yoga?
道咒吗？
After the practice, which Taoist mantra should we
太
chant?
阳散飞，垂光持清，
Is it the sun dispersing the sunshine, light dappling purple and blue?
对日智慧法。
So the facing the sun wisdom dharma practice.
另外还有一个大日智慧法。
And the other one is the great sun wisdom dharma practice. You have to practice 3 times a day.
只是早上修一回。
If my time is constrained, can I just practice once a day in the morning?
次呼吸，
How many breaths is considered as one set of practice? Do I use complete deep breathing
智慧
or treasure with energy? The great sun wisdom dharma practice and the amassing light
二者
dharma practice or the accumulation light, the light accumulation dharma practice.
成就
In the
都
book
一样吗？
Shooting Stars and Red Maples, what are the differences? Do they produce the same end result?
对日智慧法是否具有
Does practicing the great sun wisdom and facing the sun wisdom dharma practices provide us with the same function as armor protection?
关于大日智慧法，跟对
Regarding the great sun wisdom dharma practice and the facing the sun wisdom dharma practice,
大日智慧法，在师尊文集第98
was mentioned in Grandmaster's book number 98, The Mysterious Crusade of the Dharma Ocean,
中
on the article on
言是非常隐秘，
taking refuge in the rainbow light of the great sun.
相传之
This Dharma practice is extremely secretive. It is a Dharma of the oral tradition. It is the clandestine practice of the blue-green Padmakumara.
对于有些
Anyone constantly practicing this Dharma will find liberation. It will be transmitted only to those engrossed in it.
根本上师情法，
And this Dharma practice cannot be done remotely. You have to request personally from the lineage root guru. So the Great Sun Wisdom Dharma practice is an oral tradition. Cannot be done with 6 ears. So Grandmaster has 2 ears and you have 2 ears, so only 4 ears. It cannot be spoken if there's an additional person. So all the same, today, for the Great Sun Wisdom Dharma practice cannot be transmitted publicly. It's been mentioned in that book, The Mysterious Crusade of the Dharma Ocean. The Dharma cannot be spoken to 6 ears, so it can only be done one-on-one. Cannot be known to the third party. So if you want to learn the Great Sun Wisdom Dharma practice, come to the Seattle temple and live here longer. Stay longer. Stay longer. Then I will teach you all the practice. And facing the sun, wisdom Dharma practice its empowerment can be done remotely. And to be practiced on the 5 constructive days. Do you know? In the lunar farmer's calendar, there's the lunar calendar in there. And in Hong Kong, they called it this is a Chinese word. When we say the name is book, but it sounds like losing. But Hong Kong people don't want to lose. They like to gamble. They love money. They play mahjong at the restaurants. They want to gamble. The Taiwanese call it the Tong Su, Su meaning books, but it sounds like losing. So in Hong Kong they changed it to become winning. They don't like to hear the sound of losing. And monks and nuns in Taiwan are very respected, and people will join their palms. But the Hong Kong people would say, "Oh, bad luck, if they see monks and nuns, because it's like bald head, meaning like they lost everything." So the master who ordained me, the Venerable Guoxian, he walked out from the elevator, and the Hong Kongese said, "Oh no, bad luck." And so he reprimanded them that as an ordained monk or nun, we are the field of fortunes. You should be lucky to see ordained person, but the Hong Kong people don't believe that. Then they stop gambling on that day because they think that they would lose money. So this Dharma practice is to be practiced on the 5 constructive days. And what is the 5 constructive days? Then you open the farmer's calendar's book. There's elimination day, receiving day, perfect day, so constructive day, And it's like once every 12 days. And you practice this on the constructive day. By facing the sun when it reaches 3 to 4 feet high. At sunrise, when you see the sun, that's the time. So when you see the sun just rising from your balcony, then that's the right time. It's not talking about the clock. 11 is almost noon. This is at sunrise. So if the sun rises above the mountain, then whenever you start to see the sun rising, that's it. So at your home, whenever the sun just rises, that's the time. It is practice standing with the heart facing the sun. Inhale and visualize the qi and sun rays enter and merge with the heart. Hold the breath for 3 breaths and swallow the saliva 3 times. Now you know. When the sun just rises and you are looking at the rising sun, it's still red and it would not harm your eyes. You cannot stare straight into the sun if the sun is too bright, because that would hurt or harm your eyes. You look just at the bottom of it, and you visualize the sun rays merge with your heart. Visualize the qi that you inhale with complete breathing. So the qi and the sun rays together enter into your heart, and you hold the breath for 3 breaths, 3 inhalations and exhalations, and then you swallow the saliva 3 times, 3 mouthfuls. Swallow 3 mouthfuls of saliva and chant the mantra. The great sun diffuses its rays, dappling purple and blue-green light. Enter into my soul and shine upon my 5 elements. May the ghost brick filter pot. Make my mind calm and upright. Internally penetrate the 9 qi. Externally reach the womb life. The flying sage of utmost purity. Let the jade book of prophecy be determined, commanded. Say. After the mantra recitation, use the hand to wipe the eyes 14 times and tap the teeth 14 times. May all be auspicious. And check the lunar farmer's calendar for the 5 constructive days. Now you know. It must have been written in my books. You can practice this on any constructive day or Jian day. This is all very clear. You can ask for remote empowerment to do this Dharma practice of facing the sun wisdom, then your body will be purified, your body will be filled with yang energy, and after practicing it for a long time, you can become a sage directly. It's a joke. This is a Dharma practice of mindfulness. It's a Taoist practice, the same as visualization in Tantrayana. You inhale the qi, merge with the sun rays, and to let it enter into your heart. Hold your breath for 3 breaths. And you can swallow saliva 3 times. So you swallow your saliva. Elderlies don't have saliva anymore. And only when you're young, you would have lots of saliva. Saliva is very important. Now I still do the practice of swallowing saliva. Really? If you cannot swallow saliva, you can close your eyes and think about the sour plum. It would make you salivate. That's called swallowing saliva. If there's no saliva, you cannot make that sound. This Dharma practice is extremely wonderful, and you can receive the empowerment through remote requests. It's very easy, you just do it on the constructive day. So if you know that tomorrow is a constructive day or Jian day, then you would get up earlier and meet the rising sun. And then as it is rising, your eyes are gazing at the sun. And you can still gaze directly at the sun. The sun is still not so piercing. And then you inhale all of its sun rays, sunshine, together with your qi. Store it in your heart. That's the practice for the pure yang energy. And it can be practiced by women as well. After practicing for a long time, your whole body is filled with yang energy. And Li Dongbing was also called the Li Chun Yang, the pure Yang Li, because he had practiced until he became a complete pure Yang energy. It's a method to achieve sagehood through this Taoist practice.
大日智慧法是必须要偶尔的。
And the great sun, wisdom Dharma practice, cannot be done with the remote empowerment. It has to be transmitted orally.
奶奶在跟你讲那个是大日智慧法吧？
The great sun, wisdom Dharma practice.
再一个问题，英国。
Next question by Gareth of England.
这个加雷斯问的。
Gareth from England asked,
你在午夜
Dear Grandmaster,
开示
on May 30th, you gave a teaching that when we chant Om Burulantali,
必须观想
we need to visualize Vajrapani Bodhisattva.
修法中做披甲
Does it mean
是否需要
that we need to obtain Vajrapani empowerment in order to do
告诉他
this armor protection as part of our daily practice?
是要观想
Burulantali, you have to visualize Vajrapani
以前
Bodhisattva.
呢？以前我每一次练 Om 波里兰哲利 Om 波鲁兰哲利 Om 波鲁兰哲利的时候，
In the past, when I chant Om Burulantali,
就结手印，
and I would form the mudra,
点额头，
touch the brow point,
点喉，
the throat, the heart,
点左肩，
left shoulder, right shoulder,
然后再回到顶上，
and then back to the brow point, and then release the
观
mudra.
想
When you release the mudra, you visualize Vajrapani Bodhisattva appearing right in front of you or behind you. Either way,
每一个修行人
because every spiritual cultivator, as Sakyamuni Buddha once said,
舍利佛，你看我背面有什么？
he asked Sariputra,
我说
What do you see behind my back?
我没有看见佛陀的。
And Sariputra said, I don't see anything behind Sakyamuni
就
Buddha.
请金刚手菩萨显现，
And then Sakyamuni Buddha asked Vajrapani Bodhisattva to appear
看我背
and asked Sariputra again, So what do you see behind
看到
at my back?
金刚手，
And he replied, Now I see Vajrapani Bodhisattva at your back. And then the
每
Buddha
一个
said,
修行人，
Every spiritual cultivator or sadhaka, every Buddhist
你修嗡波里兰哲利，
who practice Om Burulantali,
请金刚手菩萨护持你，披
you are requesting Vajrapani
金
Bodhisattva
刚手菩萨
during the
会
armor
出现
protection to protect you. Then Vajrapani
随
Bodhisattva
时守护
will
着
be at your back and protecting you at any moment.
在练嗡波里兰哲利，
You don't chant Om Burulantali only during Dharma practice. Do you know?
在穿衣服的时候，每天呐、
Every day before you wear clothes,
你在穿衣服的时候，把你的衣服拿来，
like you're on your underwear, you're in your underwears and you're about to dress up,
嗡波里兰哲利，嗡波里兰哲利，嗡波里兰哲利，嗡波里兰哲利，练7遍，然后
and
再把它
you
穿上，
place your hands,
披甲护身，
on your clothes, you place your clothes on your hands, and then you chant Om Puranjali, and then you wear the clothes. That's armor protection. Then you would never be invaded by any spirits or ghosts. So you don't do Om Puranjali only during Dharma practice. You do it before you go out. You do it on the clothes before you wear them. It's very effective. Purli means Vajrapani. Lanjali is to support and protect. So which means Vajrapani Bodhisattva protect you. So when we do armor protection as part of our Dharma practice, do we need empowerment for Vajrapani? No need. But if you want an empowerment, it's fine too. Pani means Vajrapani Bodhisattva. Every tantrika, because we called Pani. That's good enough. Om Puranjali was taught to me by Master Pufang. You need to visualize Vajrapani Bodhisattva. So, as you know, when we do our Dharma practice, we do armor protection and we chant the Om Puranjali. As you release the mudra, we have to visualize Vajrapani Bodhisattva. But before I do any of that, they already continue. They continue to the next one, so I had no time to visualize anything. And Vajrapani Bodhisattva, one hand is holding Vajra scepter and the other one is Vajra lasso. And the legs are like a Mahabala, standing, one straight, one bent. So that's the leg posture of bow and arrow. You have to visualize clearly, but before I do that, they continued, so I didn't have enough time to visualize anything. Now it's better. They would take a little pause after the releasing the mudra, and then they continue when they see Grandmaster. That Grandmaster have joined his palms again, so they know now that you have to visualize. So that was a question by Gareth from England. Do you need Vajrapani empowerment? No need. Because you have received the empowerment for the Dharma practice, and Vajrapani is only part of it. So if you don't chant his mantra, he would be invisible, but by chanting his mantra, he would appear. But if you want an empowerment, that's fine too. Because Vajrapani Bodhisattva is one of the 8 great Bodhisattvas. You can also have him as your yidam too.
金刚手菩萨。
He's one of the 8 great bodhisattvas. One of the 8 great bodhisattvas. But it's okay if you want to especially receive Vajrapani empowerment. And Vajrapani Bodhisattva has his own special mantra. Anybody knows? Nobody. Om Beja Boni Hom Hom Pe.
是不是这样？是啊，对呀，那是金刚手菩萨的咒语。
That's the mantra of Vajrapani Bodhisattva.
加上了南则力，是护持我。
And when you chant Lanjali means protect me. Om Boni, which means Vajrapani. Nanjali means protect me. And you can chant it when you go out or anytime, not just during Dharma practice. Mom is very strict, and she doesn't let us to go out at night. So I intentionally made my dad really angry, and Dad was chasing me out of the house. And then so he could leave the house. We could leave the house. The kid went to the internet cafe, and the dad went to the bar after leaving the house. So the mom is strict, but the dad and the kid want to go out and play. So the kid intentionally made the dad really angry, and the dad was trying to beat the kid and chasing him out of the house, and then the dad followed and left the house too. So when there's a rule, there's a breaking the rule. I played golf with a 78-year-old man, and he was sharing with me the wisdom of life all along. He's truly the most, I spent the most carefree day than be myself. And then afterwards I told him, please don't speak to me at the parking lot because my wife is picking me up. And she thought that I had been deaf for 5 years. And the 78-year-old man pretended to be deaf 5 years ago. So what benefit is there? Lots of them. You know, every time I give wedding blessings, I would ask the men, the grooms, do your girlfriends love to talk? And if the man replies, the groom replies, oh, my girlfriend doesn't like to speak. And I would say, congratulations, that's a very rare. That you're very lucky. But if the man said that, oh, my girlfriend loves to talk, then I would hang my head. If you have such experience, please raise your hands. No need to ask the monks or the nuns. Most women love to talk a lot. Most women talk a lot. It's very important to be quiet, to have a quiet environment. Grandmaster doesn't speak very much, only when I give them a teaching. I don't usually speak very much. This is a little dirty, this joke. It is the problem of the person who picked the joke, not mine. It's quite blue. Is it blue? Can I tell the joke? Someone, please stand up if you said it. It's okay. She's really old already. I'm too embarrassed to say, but they said that it's okay, so it's their problem. When the teacher was doing a rooster, there was a woman that's called Seven Phoenix. And the teacher was very curious, why are you called this name? And she said, oh, because when my mom was giving birth to me, the phoenix crowed 7 times. That's why I am called the 7 Phoenix. That's ridiculous, the teacher said. What if the rooster crowed 8 times when you were born? That's why you cannot deduce from those things. Because for her, truly, the phoenix was croaking 7 times. Now we will talk about fruition and path. Not it's fruit, but it is truly like this in the excerpt. Fruit and path, not the path and its fruit. The following is the instruction on the spiritual experiences of the out-of-worldly path. It is divided into 2 kinds, fruit and path. The first one, fruit. The spiritual experience of the fruit, as in the verse in quotes, if one merges with the palace of the Mahaprajnaparamita Buddha Mother, one will experience the Dharmakaya due to the liberation from the two attachments, end quote. This refers to when the mind chi is evenly absorbed into the quintessential A character at the lower left part of the left semen channel. One will be able to stop and cut what needs to be cut and discern the two attachments and attain the great bliss of Dharmakaya. So if one merges with the palace of the Mahaprajnaparamita Buddha Mother, the verse, if one merges with the palace of Mahaprajnaparamita Buddha Mother, one will experience the Dharmakaya due to the liberation from the two attachments, which is attachments to self or ego and attachments to everything. So attachments to self and attachments to Dharma or everything. When the mind chi is evenly absorbed, which is in meditation, into the quintessential A character at the lower left part of the left semen channel, one will be able to stop the two attachments, attachments to self and attachments to Dharma or everything, and one can attain the great bliss of Dharmakaya. That's what it meant. Prajnaparamita. Who can transmit the Prajnaparamita? Who is the guru of the ever-weeping Bodhisattva? A great Bodhisattva, Xianghong, the guru of the ever-weeping Bodhisattva. A Xianghong Bodhisattva could transmit the Prajnaparamita, is able to transmit Prajnaparamita. The ever-weeping Bodhisattva, the guru, lived in the city of Xiangfeng, and the great Bodhisattva called the Xiangfeng Bodhisattva specializes in transmitting Prajnaparamita. So the chi merges with the great palace of Prajnaparamita Buddha Mother. What does it mean? The palace of Mahaprajnaparamita Buddha Mother. One will experience the liberation from the two attachments, the Dharmakaya. Anybody can explain? If one merges with the palace of Mahaprajnaparamita Buddha Mother, anybody can explain this phrase? I will not explain. I'm not allowed to explain this part. I cannot tell you. I will keep the secret. This is a secret. By saying this, someone may guess and understand. Merging with the palace of Prajnaparamita Mahabuddha Mother. The chi merges with the palace of Prajnaparamita Mahabuddha Mother. The left semen channel at the bottom of it, the character, you would be able to stop the attachments to self and to Dharma and gain the great bliss of Dharmakaya. That's what it meant. But the palace of the Prajnaparamita Mahabuddha Mother, I cannot explain. Second, the path. The spiritual experience of the path, as in the verse, quote, by the lucid and light home, one generates the wisdom of infinite and immaculate space, end quote. It refers to when the mind qi is evenly absorbed into the home character of the dual execution. One gives rise to the meditation of self-arising wisdom. The mind is lucid, the body light, the immaculate space is analogy. This does not follow the stages, just let it be and maintain it. The above is the complete instructions on all the spiritual experiences of the initial accumulation period. That's the complete instruction. So, lucid and light home, what does it mean? Home, character or syllable, transformed to become very lucid, light, immaculate. One generates the wisdom of infinite and immaculate space. The sky is an analogy. You self-generate a wisdom that is immaculate. So what kind of phenomena is this? This is when you are in meditation on the home of the dual execution. In meditation, you visualize home character that is completely immaculate, lucid, and light. You will self-generate the greatest kind of wisdom. And at this moment, the mind is completely lucid, immaculate, and the body feels light, and the immaculate space or sky is just an analogy. This is when you're in meditation. At the moment of dual execution, the home character can give rise to this self-generating wisdom. So this meditation is called the self-arising wisdom meditation. And this does not follow the stages. Just let it be and maintain it. And the above is the complete instructions on all the spiritual experiences of the initial accumulation period. I did not say it specifically about this too. When you're in meditation, and then you enter into Paramita, the palace of the great Buddha Mother. When you are in meditation, the horizon character of the semen channel at the lower tip, the character, this would allow you to cut off the attachments to self and to everything, to Dharma. And the second, when you meditate and enter into the palace of the Prajnaparamita Mahabuddha Mother, you visualize the home character to be extremely clear and lucid. You would generate to a kind of wisdom that's called the self-arising wisdom meditation. That's what it meant. There's a song. Thinking of you, you're in the sky. Thinking of you, you're in the brain. Thinking of you, you're in the heart of field. And then you merge, and you're just like the sky, immaculate. Once you merge, then you're like the sky, immaculate, free of any contamination. And the character appears, then it will cut attachments to self and Dharma. The home character appears. Then you would attain the self-arising wisdom meditation. But I will not specify the palace of the Mahaprajnaparamita Buddha Mother. The rest is explained clearly. When I think of you, you're at the border, the sky. When I think of you, you're right in front of my eyes. When I think of you, you're in my brain. When I think of you, you're in my heart. That's called one. When you're in dual execution, it would become zero. What is zero? Zero is the sky. At that time, what appears is no attachments to self, no attachments to anything, no contamination. You become lucid. You become immaculate sky. So when you're in union, that's one. And from one, you transform into zero. This is the realm of zero. our family wants a girl, so I'm pregnant again. And one day the son lay on my tummy and said, Mom, after you give birth to my little sister, can you please give birth to a little puppy for me? That's a kid's talk of Mani Benny Home.